So hello guys, hope you all are doing well. And today I'm going to discuss with you a topic that is, I think it is relevant in today's time. So the topic is that is United Nations is still relevant in today's time, or it's not. Okay, so we know that the when was the United Nations was formulated. United Nations was formulated at the time of in 1945. Okay, and that was after the Second World War, and it was founded in the San Francisco, which is in the United States. Okay, and its main purpose was, we know at the time, due to the World War, everything just got disturbed. So to cope up with all these issues in the past, people or the countries, they thought that there will be some a group, and it will be collectively look on the thing all the things in the world. Okay, so they formulated the United Nations in 1945, and the first main purpose of United Nations is to develop international peace and security. And you know that United Nations played a very important part in the different parts of the world. Like if we talk about the Syria crisis or Syria war, and in Yemen and Afghanistan, in all these places the United Nations played a very important part in these things. Okay, we can never neglect what the United Nations do did for the helping of the humanity and for the society, and also for the countries in the whole of this earth. Okay, and the second major point, or we can say major objective of the United Nations, is to maintain the relation between the nations across the world, right? But we know that there are certain fallbacks, or we can say there are certain issues also arising in the United Nations. Like if we talk about the hegemony, then we know that several nations like USA, France, and China, and some countries have hegemony in United Nations, and especially it's the United States. We know that in every group or every forum which is related to the United Nations, you will find that the USA has hegemony in these things. Okay, so these are the points on that we can say that it's irrelevant. Okay, but we know that it played a very important part in Afghanistan when the Afghanistan crisis was happened, and in different aspects. Okay, but if we talk about the Russia-Ukraine crisis and COVID-19 situation and the pandemic and disaster types of things, you will find that still the United Nations is irrelevant in all these things. All right, so I think there are some points in which the more focus is needed for the to the United Nations. And the third point which they have to do, like we know that when the United Nations were formulated uh, in the 75 years ago, then what the founding fathers of the United Nations, what they thought about the United Nations, they are not fulfilling this now. Okay, they are not able to put maintain the issues like the yes, Russia Ukraine crisis and pandemic and all these types of in these things, they have proved themselves as failure. Okay, and but still there are some organizations or forums of the United Nations, like United Nations Human Rights Commission and UNICEF. Okay, you will find that they have a large number of the works, and we can say projects which are working on different countries all around the world. All right, in the pandemic time we know that they also played a very important part in providing the COVID-19 vaccines to the developing nations in African, most of the African parts. Okay, there are different food programs are also happening in all around the world, and what we call as the UN peacekeeping missions. Okay, these are called as the blue hats. Okay, so what is the work of these people? And they are maintaining the peace in the war torn countries. Okay, you know that India is also providing large number of the soldiers to the UN peacekeeping forces. Okay, so it is also playing a very important part in these in the maintaining peace and security in all around the world. And but there are some improvements needed. Okay, we know that before when the 75 years ago when the UN was formulated, they have different objectives, and the time was also different at the time. But now the UN has to adapt itself according to the modern times and according to the needs of today's time. Okay, so I think if at any time when the UN will be able to fulfill all these requirements, then I think that UN will be a very good organization which will be helping all the countries around the world in a big way, and it will also be the cause of maintaining peace and security, international peace and security around the world. Okay, so that's all about the United Nations. Hope you all guys understood it well, and if you like the video, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Thank you, have a good day.